Happened across an advertisement for a fundraising event that they were doing not too long ago, maybe a month or two ago, on Facebook.
Okay.
And I didn't really understand what the event was or who was sponsoring the event or what Nurture was, and I tried Googling them and I couldn't really find much information, but I figured, they said it's a family-friendly event and I love to take my son to places. So I picked him up from daycare one day and we drove down to O'Toole's and hung out. And I met Leslie while I was there, actually. There's a fantastic picture of us chit-chatting with me sitting at the bar actually nursing my son while Leslie's standing there talking to me.
That's awesome.
But it was nice to meet some people there. It was nice to hear that there is an organization that's trying to, provide resources for women and for families, for childbearing families, I guess is how they say it. I wasn't trying to get pregnant when I got pregnant. I was, trying not to get pregnant when I got pregnant, and I got pregnant anyway. And I felt pretty self-sufficient, but I'd never been pregnant before. I'd never really thought about being pregnant and what I might need. And after the fact, I kind of wish that there was an organization like that I could have reached out to.
Leslie Little, a mother, wife, yoga teacher, childbirth advocate, and founder of Om Mama LLC, continued her maternal and child health work through professional and personal avenues leading up to the transition of Om Mama into Nurture.
Really sort of instigated by the feedback that I was getting from my students in terms of the difficulty in finding a place that they felt safe and comfortable where they could explore new parenthood and explore the process of pregnancy and get ready to have a baby. When you think about it, and this is a joke that I say all the time, but I'm not really joking. We have an award-winning SPCA here in Richmond for animals. Why can't we have an award-winning center for the generation that's bringing in the next generation?
Leslie's main focus in providing this award-winning facility is to eradicate problems with the Metro Richmond area that arise during the childbearing period either due to lack of information or misinformed guidance. Child and maternal health is an endemic issue around the world, but in order to provide better access to information and a safe place to breastfeed, someone like Leslie has to jump in head first and start with what they can to get to that point later on.
If I'd come across an organization like Nurture when I found out I was pregnant, maybe I'd have started taking some prenatal yoga classes, or maybe I would have connected with some sort of mommy mentor or something like that who could have helped me navigate things a little more fluidly, and who I'd still be in touch with. And maybe along the way I would have met other women who were pregnant, and maybe some of them would have been due in October and our kids could be friends. And that sort of connection, I don't have that kind of connection with a lot of my friends now because they are not moms, or they are moms of much older children. So I do wish that I'd been able to find people who were in my circumstance earlier on. Maybe Nurture or an organization like that would have helped me connect.
One of the biggest health problems associated with child and maternal health is the lack of support and communication with childbearing mothers and postnatal families. Having a place for women to go to talk about their childbearing period and ask questions about other women's experiences helps diminish this problem. Another huge issue with maternal and child health is that of breastfeeding. A lot of women in the United States, and more specifically the Metro Richmond area, feel ashamed to breastfeed in public, which causes issues when their baby starts to cry, and it can even cause pain for mothers not to release that milk at some points. Nurture provides an opportunity to become more comfortable in your own body and aims to show prenatal mothers that it's okay and even normal to breastfeed wherever and whenever you need to.
Well, I feel like when you have a baby, all of your modesty tends to go out the window. So, I think like with that, it's just kind of nice to be around other people who are okay with you nursing and like not. I guess it's not in public, but it's it's not in your own home, and everyone is so totally fine and comfortable and not like looking at you like you're crazy or weird or why are you doing that, and it's just very accepted, and it's just kind of nice to know that you can feed your baby when he or she is hungry without having to like go find a corner or something like that. Just kind of and still be a part of what's going on rather than separate.
In my mind, breastfeeding was not really optional. That's how you feed your newborn, right? And the lactation consultant came into the hospital room the day after he was born at night, so she came the next morning. And she checked my latch, and things seemed to be going well. And she was lovely, and she knew a lot about breastfeeding, but I didn't even know what to ask. And I know that I did ask later in the day for someone to make sure that she came back the next day before I got discharged, because I knew that I wanted a chance to talk to her again, even if I didn't know what to ask. I had lots of questions about breastfeeding, and I didn't know who to go to once I left the hospital.
She does a lot of education kind of just about your body and what to expect in terms of after you have a baby, like what to expect your body to be like, and kind of give yourself a break. And she explains like when she's doing all the poses, she talks about kind of this is really good for this because blah 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 blah, and it's unlike other yoga classes I've done before. Like she just does a really good job of explaining kind of everything, and she does a great job of incorporating the babies into it, which is really fun, and it makes it less hard.
We tend to do better when we are connected with others. In American culture, often women end up being a bit isolated after birth, and we have in this country 10 to 20%. All right, so there's a continuum of postpartum adjustment. One of my colleagues says that it's about 85% of women have some sort of postpartum adjustment that they go through, but it's kind of like a bell curve. And so over on one side, or it's a continuum. So over on the one side, just have like, it's a little bit, it's not a big deal. And then you get over, and then maybe a lot of people are around in the midsection. And then you get over to the end here where you have significant anxiety, depression, postpartum mood disorder, and that's about 10 to 20% of people. It's a significant number. If you look at, in the Richmond metropolitan area, we have about 14,000 births a year. So if you talk about 10 to 20% of the population, that's 1,400 to 2,800 women are maybe experiencing some significant mental health issues that might need and benefit from some social support. Definitely over on this end of the continuum, sometimes social support is all they need to make that transition. Over here they may need some more intervention, clinical support. So trying to provide a safe place or safe vehicle where women can connect with each other and start to normalize what for many people feels like an abnormal situation. You heard that one woman say today, my baby is sleeping in 45-minute segments and I haven't had sleep in 8 weeks and it's killing me. That will affect your mental health, And so to come into a situation where somebody else says, oh, my baby did that for a while and this is how I coped, or I did that and it was really rough, wasn't it? It's so hard to get through this, but you're going to get through it. Kind of makes it feel like, oh, I'm not crazy. And, I can figure out ways to manage it. And so those may seem like small things, but they're actually kind of huge. And the literature suggests that women who are more socially connected with other women or other people in their community actually have less problems adjusting to parenthood.
I think because it's such like embarking on an unknown territory for any new mom, first time mom like myself, that it's really, really helpful to kind of gather as much information as you can, and the more information you can gather, the more confident you feel going into labor, which is like a really daunting experience.
Leslie's organization seeks to provide support through communication, education, and physical activity to increase women's awareness of the importance of breastfeeding, bodily maintenance, and social interaction. Through the yoga classes, Nurture enables women to understand potential issues with their pre- and postnatal lives and works to help them cope with their individual circumstances. In the future, Nurture plans to expand to assist as many childbearing families as possible.
Well, our goal, our ultimate goal is to raise enough funds so that we can open a location where all of these kinds of classes, fitness classes, childbirth education classes, breastfeeding support groups, maybe parenting support groups, new fathers support groups, can all happen under one roof.